Like the shirt, sarcasm is my superpower. What's up out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse and I am back for another Golden Age video. I'm going to take a little different format for this Golden Age video, and I'm going to name a couple of firsts. First of all, I'm going to name the first female superhero with powers. Now, she officially appeared in pulp magazines, not comic books. Pulp magazines were a type of comic books. But I am going to mention her. I am going to mention the first female protagonist to have her own comic named after her. And I'm also going to go over the very first superheroine, that's female superhero with powers in the comic books. They are all different people. So let's kick this Golden Age video off with the first female with powers. Olga Mizmer is, according to comic historians, the first American superheroine. But this is from Pulp magazine. She is not the first superheroine in comics, but she did a lot to pave the way. Olga Mizmer first appeared in Spicy Mystery Stories in August of 1937. The original publisher of these were Culture Publications. Now, it is not known who created Olga, but there are some ideas of who might have created her. Olga Mizmer is the daughter of the queen of a underground kingdom called Queen Margot. When she was driven from her home by a coup, she found herself on the surface where she would meet her husband. Her husband used an experimental device on her that would give the queen X-ray vision. Shortly after the queen discovered her powers, she accidentally killed her husband and then gave birth to her daughter Olga before she would return to her underground kingdom. As Olga grew up, she inherited the X-ray vision from her mother. She also had supernatural strength. After she was able to avoid the advances of her guardian, who had grown lustful for her, she would happen across an attempted murder of a young man named Rodney Prescott. She killed the attacker and gave Rodney a blood transfusion, and he would gain some of her abilities as a result of this. Olga and Rodney would travel through the underground kingdom, doing their best to restore Margot to her throne. Olga would drink of the secret potion in the kingdom, which granted immortality and allowed her to also keep the powers that she had. After that, Olga, Rodney, and Margot would travel to Venus, where Margot and the Venusian king would get married, hoping that this would bring peace between Venus and Earth. Next up is Sheena the Jungle Queen. Sheena the Jungle Queen first appeared in Wags #1 in 1937, a UK publication. She would then appear in Jumbo Comics #1 in 1938, which is a US publication. She was created by Will Eisner and Jerry Iger. When she first came out, she didn't have any powers to speak of. She was able to communicate with wild animals, and she was very proficient with knives, spears, and bows. There would be a 2000 TV series made for her, and in this series, she had the ability to shapeshift with any animal that she made eye contact with. But that was not one of her original powers, since she didn't have any. Now, this is an interesting origin. Sheena was a young blonde daughter traveling Africa with her father, Cardwell Rivington. He would die from a magic potion accidentally put together by a witch doctor named Koba. Koba, feeling responsible for Cardwell Rivington's death, essentially, would go ahead and raise Sheena in the ways of the African jungle, teaching her languages and how to communicate with animals. She would become queen of the jungle, and she gets a monkey sidekick named Chim. Shortly after she became queen, she would meet a young hunter named Bob Reynolds. She would choose him to be her mate, and he was in a constant need to be rescued. Sheena the Jungle Queen would appear for a lot of the 40s and also come up for some time in the 50s. She would have a television series of her in the 1950s and a TV series about her in the early 2000s. In 1984, there would be a film from Sheena, and Marvel Comics would print a 2-issue limited series that was based off of the hit film. Now, last and certainly not least is the first female superheroine in comics. Her name is Phantoma. I do believe I'm pronouncing that right. She first appeared in Jungle Comics number 2 in 1940. The original publisher was Fiction House, and she was created by Fletcher Hanks. Phantoma is a mysterious goddess-like being who protects the jungles of Africa, also known as Mystery Woman of the Jungle. She has vast magical powers. She can transform herself into a blue phantom-like skeleton creature or a floating skull with blonde hair. She is practically omnipotent, and she also uses her vast magical powers to sentence her enemies to brutal and bizarre punishments in the same way that the Spectre does. She would fight a whole assortment of enemies such as slavers, treasure hunters, foes that can control giant spiders with a hypnotic drum. I can't believe I just said that. A professor who wants revenge against nature, who would attack all the animals that you would find in the jungle, things like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure enjoy making it. This shows strong female characters all the way back since the beginning of comics, even before Wonder Woman, which is why I found this particular set of women very interesting for a Golden Age review. If you did like this video, please go ahead and give that like button a click, and you might want to subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot of Golden Age videos, and I have a number of list videos that you might like. So, until next time, I'll see you.